Okay, hi. This is my medic point of view from a UGC silver match in Europe. It's Season 9, Week 1. It's on Lakeside. It's my team Gangnam Style playing against a Russian team called Critoveds. It's Crit something. Right, we're playing this first half on their server, and I'm just going to basically walk through what I'm doing. This isn't very good positioning from me right here. I shouldn't have put my face by the door. And also this corner is pretty bad to stand in, because if they say Uber in or crits in and I'm standing in that corner, I have no escape route at the moment. And I think this is going to be something that you can see pretty obviously here. My team's running Uber at the moment, but they're running crits and they're just about to get it. And imagine like if they crits in through the ball house right now, I have nowhere to go. And see, the crits comes in, and I just about managed to survive there, but it takes out my entire team because just of our bad positioning. It was a really dumb mistake. I should just not have been standing there. But I decided to do a demo review of this game because while there are quite a lot of good plays, I reckon, in this, there are also quite a few bad ones. There's quite a few mistakes, and these are things that, like myself and any kind of aspiring medic out there in like steel or iron, there's just lots of things that you can learn from. So yeah, we're going to start to move up and actually start to contest the point. We've already let them get 30 seconds, but we have the Uber. I'm going to actually just pop on the point, get a combo out there, and I just flashed it around just to sort of let our demo man get a free jump, put him out, give our heavy and pyro some actual aggressive power. And now it's just time for me to get out. I probably shouldn't have actually fired that crossbow shot, but it's basically push, contest the point and get out. And obviously you can tell we have managed to cap that. So now it's just kind of like we can play more passively now. We don't want to give them too much free ground, but there's no reason for me to be standing right on the point. Normally where our heavy Jed is standing, that's kind of like the main spot for a dispenser, your medic to just stand around, heal people, and yeah, that's like the main place really. I think really important is that I'm actually kind of refusing to go up the stairs here, because that's just opening me up to being attacked. If my guys need heals, they can come down to me, rather than me risking my life to come up there and get them. Like even there, I just ate a sticky, trying to heal that demo man.
Our control point is being captured.
We also know that they have crits again, so that's something we have to be constantly looking out for.
The control point is being contested.
But I'm about to get the Uber anyway, so it's just going to be a battle of right clicking. See, they managed to pop it. I managed to drop our soldier and our pyro, but I managed to save our demo man. And once we're Ubered, that just gives us some immediate advantage there. Yeah, I was standing in a city place. The back of that obelisk thing can be quite a good spot to hide and just shoot hills, but I stood too close to an edge, and when our demo man took a pill, I got hit with a lot of splash damage from that. Here I'm playing a little bit too passively because they're attacking the spam coming in. But we managed to refocus and take the point and take our little dispenser spot by the tree. Something worth noting in this game is the fact that we're playing the Russian team Critoveds. We're actually playing the first half of this game on their server, and while my own ping is okay, most of our team are suffering quite a bit from like pings above 100. And we get a few messages in chat later about how it affects the performance. Also, Pyro Spoo, I don't know what he's done to his microphone, but he's playing dumb in this game. Playing without comms, so that's something we have to look out for. That there, our demo man dying to the scout, that was a case of bad communication. Maybe if that was called that the scout was in yard, then we could have prepared better for that. We get to Uber in. And a call manages to actually stop Jed from getting backstabbed, and he actually doesn't overextend there. He waits for us. He's at the spot. I managed to win the heavy confrontation with the Uber, and then surf a sticky, save a pyro. But a pyro overextends anyway. I take a crit there, which is never a good thing. Immediately start to withdraw, and I played a little bit too risky there, trying to overextend with my own Uber. The medieval medic set did save me there, with the extra regen helping me out. It doesn't matter because it did work out. Over here, this is just kind of like very boring passive play at the moment. We don't need to kind of always be standing on the point, we just don't want them to get the ground for free. So for medic, it's just a lot of standing around healing people. That's the ideal situation. Fortunately, I waited a little bit too long to get out there. I saw that they were actually contesting the point. We can see the cap timer, and there's a lot of people up there. And while I do manage to make it out, that was lucky. I couldn't count on that.
Mission ends in 30 seconds.
Doctor!
Although it's meant to notice, while I have had a few kind of quite close deaths, I haven't actually died at any point throughout this, except for round about here. They pop crits. I actually, looking back on the demo, I can see that they're all in position to use it. I'm just about to get my Uber, but then I take my first death of the round. And to be honest, that was my own fault, because as I said earlier, that Spoo was playing without his mic. That's the one person on the team who I would have to follow blinds, and I did, and I paid the price for that. But we wouldn't have been able to contest that, even if I had managed to finish off the Uber. We're going to try going through tunnel and contest the late again at the start. I'm not sure this is the best plan, but there's only really going through here or going through yards that works out. Now, our heavy goes in to deal with it. I know that our heavy Jed likes to play a kind of roaming heavy role, and he plays best if he doesn't have to babysit a medic. So I just sit outside, I'm with the pyro and with the soldier, and Jed comes back when he needs the heals.
The point is now available for capture.
The thing is, while we were just kind of fanning about in Pool House, they were contesting the point. And now they're actually going to get this just because of how much.
We have lost control.
I did fake the Aruba there as a kind of... I knew that they would have crits. I knew they were still running crits. And I was just trying to fake out their medic by saying, oh, we've got crits as well. We're running it on the same time as you are. We're also a threat. And there's no other way of knowing if it actually helps you, but it's a little bit of metagame. It can make a difference. I probably could have survived that rocket, but that would have left me at very, very low. It's not sure it's something that I would have wanted to do.
We have captured the control point.
Fortunately, this is where I played to start to deteriorate a little. I felt very proud of the first round, and I felt like I had quite a few good Uber charges. But our play, both my own and as a team, starts to get a little bit worse around about here. So there's a lot more things that I can complain about. Like here, for quite a long time, all I've had to do is heal the pyro, which is fine, because it means that I actually have protection. But it means that I'm building my Uber a lot slower, and if we just heard the medic call that he's charged, that could have been fake, that could have been true, but it's not something that I would like to rely on, especially as they're running crits.
Alert. Our control point is being captured.
Here I am again. I'm following Spoo around, because even though he's mute, seems to be the only person at the moment who's actually protecting me, which is something that I'm not really fond of. But it works out, I find a buddy, and the rest of our combo join us. And immediately we're a pushing force again. We have Uber. We know that they have crits, but as long as we keep, as long as we keep paying attention, we can hope to win this fight. Notice how I never actually commit to the point. There's never any reason for me to be up there, but I have a lot to lose if you're standing there. On the point, you can pretty much be seen by anywhere on the map, which means that any sniper line is open. I'm a little bit sad about missing that demo there. This is a point where I should just be getting out, because I pay the price here. I wanted to pop it, but for some reason my crossbow comes out, and I drop the Uber. Just shame on me. Maybe if I actually had stayed committed, I could have popped Uber and saved our demo man. But yeah, that was bad play completely on my part. Still, you gotta pick yourself up, keep moving on. All we can do now is just hope to get the next push. The times are still looking quite equal, so there's still some hope for us in this. I said how they still have their crits. They finally decide to use it, which is a bit weird how long it's taken. Because since in between the time they actually got it, the time they used it, they could have just used it instantly and charged another crits and done that.
60 seconds.
Yeah, surviving that crit rocket. I like to pretend that I was able to dodge well, but it's not something that you can always rely on. If he'd aimed just a slight bit better, then I would have died like that.
We have captured the control point.
Still, we know we have an Uber advantage, but we know it's not very much. So we're hoping on the other team just kind of trying to push as soon as they get the crits and us just being prepared.
Ready to charge!
That's how I looked about. Actually, I'm going up on the stairs here. This is something that I'm not particularly fond of as well. I mean, it's one thing just to commit to point, but just even standing a little bit on the stairs, if your head is showing, then that opens you up to their sniper. And it doesn't matter how bad their sniper is, but if you keep popping your head up there and he's not being pressured, he'll get you eventually. If he's free to just take pot shots at you all day, at one point he'll definitely hit you. This is another misplay here. I saw that they actually were all coming up. See, they're all up over here. And what I should do here is just pop and immediately go into push for them. But no, I try and go up with Jed, and I miss Kit. And I drop into the crits. It's a massive mistake. They pop crits, decimate our team. I'm stuck with a pyro. And it's quite close towards ending time. This is massive drop of the ball from me there.
Mission ends in 30 seconds.
Yeah, especially how there were only 40 seconds to go when that happened. They've definitely got time to charge another crits, but I'm going to be hard pushed to get an Uber up in that time, and I get picked anyway.
Mission ends in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You failed.
Yep, and so we lose that round. Massive drop of the ball from me there. That was completely my fault. But now we decided to try something different. We've tried Poulet's pushes, mid-fights for the last 2 rounds, and they haven't worked. So it's time to try something different, time to just mix it up. If you notice that some tactic is working for you and it's not broke, then don't fix it. But if you notice that it is breaking and people are adapting to it, then it's definitely time for a change. Don't just keep committing to losing fights. This fight isn't going particularly great. Heavy's just gone down to their scout. They still have a lot of players up compared to us, but we have the point presence, which is doing absolutely massive work for us. Unfortunately, they do start to edge back, but we are holding guard as opposed to holding full house. We're not being choked in. We've got a lot of free movement, and I'm able to get the 2 right. I'm still feeling very, very unsafe, so I decided to push with it immediately. I don't want to sit around at 20 health having Uber, because that's just asking to drop it. Unfortunately, our demo manages to die as they pop the crits. He took a lot of crit knockback, went flying.
We have captured the control point.
I think he actually managed to take down a sentry while he was in the air or something, but he was on about 7 HP and died to the 4 damage. My use of the crossbow here isn't particularly great. Normally, if I'm not in a deathmatch situation and it's not desperate, I'm not standing still to aim a shot, I just use it as a spam weapon. Just throw it at the point and see what I can hit. But in that case, I'm spending a lot of time just looking at our comms are starting to suffer here. We're starting to get a little bit frustrated after the 2 losses. And I've found myself stuck on my own. So I was having to peek onto the point to see when it was safe to go on, and I bought a pro crossbow shot out. Fortunately, we did just hear a med pick. I think that was a med drop as well. So we know that it's instantly safe to go. We've got a massive Uber advantage. By the time their meds up, yeah, it's going to be about 75, 80. So we know it's pretty safe to go. And it's not just Uber that they don't have, they also don't have heals, they don't have overheals. So there's plenty of scope for a 450 heavy to just walk in and mesh it up.
Ready to charge!
Alert. Our control point is being captured.
Yeah. Now, if it wasn't for the medpick, we wouldn't have been standing like that all grouped up inside Pool House. That would have been a perfect time for them to have tritzed into us. But this Uber is also a mistake. Our demo completely overextends, and I'm just as bad as he is, because I follow him. If I'd actually just hung back and hung around with our heavy, then maybe we could have actually done something more efficient. Instead, no, I'm stuck on my own, having to run back down.
We have lost the control point.
Hi, Mike. Yes, they managed to pop crits. I managed to escape just from running to the side, and then circle around the house to avoid. Unfortunately, this buy does get me. I thought that I wasn't actually in a position where I could be stabbed. I thought that I had heavy to my front, down to my back, but the spy manages to get a shot. Sorry about this, by the way. It's my first video. I forgot about the golden rule of Steam video.
We have secured the control point.
There we go. That's me taking my peek. I called out that I was respawning, but nobody came to meet me. So the only thing I could do was just kind of sit around, hope I could see.
Mission ends in 60 seconds.
Fortunately, this round is going a lot better for us. Our deathmatching seems to be tons better. We haven't had to deal with our crits as much. And there's another medic pick, which will give us only a very, very slight advantage. Even though it's at 25% and their medic has a respawn time, they'll still run crits, and that gives them it shorter by 8 seconds their time. Fortunately, here I am on the point again. I'm not particularly fond of this.
Ends in 30 seconds.
But at this point, I know that we haven't got mini classes up, and I can't afford to not be healing them. It's also only 20 seconds to go, and there's a time towards the end of rounds, especially on King of the Hill, where your life as a medic becomes less important when valued next to the objective.
Mission ends in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3.
I mean, nobody cares about getting a medpick in the last 2 seconds of a round if it means that the other team can win. That said, Ubers are very good for getting a last block on the point. Their team are complaining about their demo going AFK, but what they actually have not done is pause the game, which is pretty simple. I think a pause does actually happen very, very soon, but all you have to do is just open console and press pause, if it's your server or not. So I don't know really why they're complaining about the game not being paused when it's their server and anybody can do it anyway. But that's something that you can do. UGC allows each team to have 1 pause per half of each game, so make sure you use them if necessary. We went the yard route again because it worked for us last time, and we were losing the initial encounter, so we decided to loop around and go Pool House. The big pack that spawns here is the only large pack that spawns on this map, and there is very little health. Unfortunately, I do get picked at 96%, which is pretty annoying. What's something about being picked by a sniper is you should never ever let their sniper get a pick without the person who died calling out where he is. You should always punish him by sending a scout or a soldier or a spy or someone after him, armed with the knowledge of where he's standing. This is also a dumb death. I don't know what Kitana Monk was doing there, but I could have called that better. And I could have actually looked out. I'm sure that scout was probably visible as I walked up there.
Doctor!
So that's more of a fail on me than anything else. Something that's interesting to actually point out is the result of this game, which is on UGC, it's actually quite a close game. It doesn't look it at the moment, but that's what second halves are for.
The control point is being contested.
Right here, I feel that Rooster maybe could be contesting the point and standing on it, but it's also important that he heals up, gets through 300 health. We also have a Pyro complaining about the massive ping difference, but
We have lost the control point.
notice that even though I've only had relatively few deaths, I think I've had about 4 so far, they have all been my fault, and that's how medic deaths will often be in competitive TF2. Even if, oh, a soldier jumped on my face and shot me, you can still be like, but I shouldn't have been standing there. I was vulnerable in this position. And that's how you kind of have to view your deaths in TF2. And here we have the aforementioned pause. Something important that your team can do during pauses is you can sit down, take a little bit of time out, and actually communicate exactly what you can see and wait, you know, your position and the position of players on the other team. Like at the moment, I'm telling my team that I'm stuck on Obelisk. I've just finished Uber, and now I'm going to be a pretty prime target. Monk is still on the point, our demo, so he's going to be looking to get out of there pretty soon. Also, in our yard are their scout and their soldier, and they've, in the kill feed you can see that they've killed our Pyro and our soldier. So we know that we're being flanked, and it gives us some time to kind of prepare, right, we've got this bad situation, what are we going to do about it? And there we get a brilliant argument in chat. Another thing you can do in pauses as well is if you know that there's going to be some reason why you have to go AFK pretty soon, then a pause is a pretty good time to actually just go and deal with it. Make sure that you tell your team about this though. I mean, your team should not restart a game after pausing unless you know that all 9 of your players are immediately in there. I think in previous matches there have been quite a few times where we've managed to get a med pick or even med drops or managed to win a team fight just because we were all sitting waiting for the unpause. We'd all worked out exactly what we were going to do, and then we just executed the plan where another team had been taken unaware by the pause. In that regard, it is pretty important to give a countdown when the pause is going to end, but it's still something that if you see a countdown happening, you should probably pay attention. We got a little bit of demo lag there, but managed to get it. And that's one of the few crossbow shots that I actually don't use as spam. I knew the soldier was weak, and maybe that 50 damage might have actually helped. So it is a useful weapon in that respect. You can see that they've also popped, I think they popped crits, judging by the kill feed there. But it could have just been dry. I'm fairly sure that it was a critical. This match was actually played yesterday, and I intended to do the demo review, but I'm lazy, and I went to sleep. I also spend every spare moment playing TF2. This is another stupid death on my behalf. I was actually quite safe there with the demo man. He would have sat there and protected me, but I saw a heavy. I wanted to go over there and give him some heals, and I left myself unprotected, and I left myself open for that.
Mission ends in 10 seconds.
Fortunately, we'll see some better play in the next half.
5, 4.
I don't know why my
3,
loadout opened.
2.
My loadout opened because we decided to go crits. We've been going Goober for the last 4 rounds, and while it has worked off occasionally, it hasn't been a consistent deal. We have been taken unaware by crits occasionally. There's also the big deal of Uber that, sure, it does protect you from the critical hits and you take absolutely no damage, but you do have to flash the Uber around if you have more than one teammate. And that can just lead to extra hassle for you. It can also lead to, if you just drop a teammate for half of a second, then he could die. Which happened at that point where Gangnam went flying. This is another point where I am having to poke my head up. and just allowing snipers to kind of look at me.
Ready to charge.
Well, the crit ski, but unfortunately we're holding it. I always call out when I'm getting quite close to my crits. I normally call out 70, 85, 90, around about that percentage. But they managed to do a massive push, and yeah, that sniper managed to headshot me. If we actually had been using Goober there, we could have done something. Even though Spoo says there right in the chat at the very end, we could have killed them all. I think definitely not, because it was crits, we were Dryad. We were absolutely going to die there. That was a really good push from them. Anyway, that's part 1 of this demo review of our UGC Silver Week 1 match. I'll get the second half coming out right away as well. The score is currently 3-1, and we'll just see how it ends. Okay, thanks for watching.